Hello everybody, so myself Sneha Bhatia. In today's video I will be talking about osteosarcoma. So before I start with my lecture, I would like to request my audience to please subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon to get notified for the next video and share this channel with your friends. So osteosarcoma is the second most common and a highly malignant primary bone tumor. So the most common one is the GCT, that is the giant cell carcinoma, giant cell tumor. Okay, after that on the second place we have the osteosarcoma, which is the most common tumor. So let's see about the pathology. So it's a malignant tumor of the mesenchymal cells. It is characterized by formation of osteoid or bone by the tumor cells. Okay, so this kind of feature will be seen in case of osteosarcoma. So now this osteosarcoma is having the classification. So mainly this classification is dependent on the two factors. The one factor is the clinical setting where it occurs, and the second one is its dominant histomorphology. So on the basis of the clinical setting, this tumor can be divided into primary and the secondary type. So primary osteosarcoma, it is more common and it occurs in the age group of 15 to 25 years, and there are no known pre-malignant condition related to it. It is very much more malignant than the secondary one. The secondary type of osteosarcoma occurs in the older age group, that is 45 years onwards, and some of the pre-malignant conditions often associated with it are Paget's disease, fibrous dysplasia and irradiation to bones and multiple osteochondroma. Now on the second feature, that based on what the tumor is classified into, so the second feature, it is classified on the basis of its dominant histomorphology. So according to that, there are four types. Okay, that is the osteoblastic, chondroid, fibroblastic and telangiectatic. So what is osteoblastic? So with a lot of osteoblastic tumor is with a lot of new bone formation. Chondroid type is with the basic cell being a cartilage cell. Fibroblastic type is the basic cell being a fibroblast, and telangiectatic type or osteolytic type means predominantly the lytic tumor. So this is the classification. Okay, so whatever be the histomorphological characteristic and the site of origin, all the osteosarcoma are aggressive lesions and metastasize widely through the bloodstream, usually first to the lungs. So lymph node involvement, even local, is unusual. So osteolytic type is more malignant than the osteoblastic type. Despite its aggressiveness, osteosarcoma rarely penetrates the epiphyseal plate, and most osteosarcomas fall into the primary conventional category, and they have different types of features. So most commonly, if we talk about osteosarcoma, so it will be more common in the age group of 15 to 25 years. Okay, so in that age group, the patient will mainly come with the musculoskeletal symptoms. Now common sites of the origin, so lower end of the femur, upper end of the tibia and the upper end of the humerus, these are the more common site where this tumor is taking place. Okay, but any part of the body can get affected. Now appearance, okay, gross appearance of the tumor depends upon its dominant histomorphology. So osteoblastic tumor is grayish white, hard and has a gritty feeling when it is cut. Chondroid type of tumor may appear opalescent and bluish grey. A fibroblastic type has more typical fish flesh sarcomatous appearance, and the highly malignant one, that is the telangiectatic type, may have large areas of tumor necrosis and blood filled spaces within the tumor mass. So this is the appearance of the different type of tumor. So histologically, these tumors vary in the richness of the osteoid, cartilaginous or vascular components, but common to all is a basically anaplastic mesenchymal parenchyma with tumor cells surrounded by osteoid. Okay, so depending on the type of the tumor, the structure may vary. Now coming to the clinical features of this tumor, So pain is usually the first symptom. It is followed by the swelling. Pain will be constant and boring type, and it becomes worse as the swelling increases in size. There can be associated history of trauma, or even the patient may come with the pathological fracture which may occur due to the tumor. Coming to the examination of this tumor, so swelling is in the region of the metaphysis. Skin over the swelling is shiny with prominent veins. The swelling is warm and tender. Margins of the swellings are not well defined. Movement at the adjacent joint may be limited, mainly because of the mechanical block by the swelling. The tumor may compress the neurovascular structures of the limb and produce symptom due to that. Regional lymph node may be enlarged, okay, but are usually reactive. So these are the findings which we will see in case of examination. So diagnosis, if we see the X-ray, then on X-ray we will see an area of irregular destruction. So in the metaphysis, sometimes overshadowed by the new bone formation, and cortex overlying the lesion is also eroded, and there is new bone formation in the matrix of the tumor. The second feature of the X-ray that we will see the periosteal reaction. So as the tumor lifts the periosteum, it incites an intense periosteal reaction, and the periosteal reaction in an osteosarcoma is irregular, unlike in the osteomyelitis where it is smooth and in layers. There is the possibility of Codman's triangle, so that is a triangular area of subperiosteal new bone is seen at the tumor host cortex junction at the ends of the tumor. Then we will see the characteristic sun ray appearance. So what is sun ray appearance? As the periosteum is unable to contain the tumors grows into the overlying soft tissues, and new bone is laid down along the blood vessels within the tumor, growing centrifugally, giving rise to a sun ray appearance. So that is the sun ray appearance. So this MCQ can be asked that sun ray appearance on X-ray will be seen in which type of tumor? Then the answer will be osteosarcoma. So next, serum alkaline phosphatase, that is the SAP, that will be elevated, okay, but it is of no diagnostic significance. It has been considered a useful parameter for follow-up of a case of osteosarcoma. A rise of SAP after an initial fall after tumor removal is taken as an indicator of recurrence or metastasis. Then there is biopsy. We can also confirm the diagnosis by biopsy. So an open biopsy is performed to confirm the diagnosis. Some pathologists have gained experience in diagnosing osteosarcoma by a small tissue sample obtained by a needle, which is also called as fine needle aspiration cytology, that is given as the name FNAC. Coming to the treatment, okay, so first we have to confirm the diagnosis by the test, and then we have to confirm the diagnosis whether osteosarcoma is present or not. Then we have to evaluate the spread of the tumor, so we can take the CT scan. Chest X-ray also is taken to see if it has metastasized to the lungs. CT scan also may reveal if the metastatic lesion is unclear on the chest X-ray. Now then we have to decide whether to plan for amputation surgery or to plan a limb saving operation. So complete removal of a local tumor is of vital importance in the amputation surgery, and the tumor may have slip areas in the medullary cavities and can result in recurrence even after the amputation. So see, this tumor is aggressive. Even after the amputation there are chances that the tumor will recur. Then to plan a limb saving operation in cases presenting early, a radical excision of the tumor is being performed these days, thus avoiding the amputation. Okay, so then there are methods used for precise evaluation of spread of the tumor locally. Okay, so bone scan can be done to find out the skip lesion. CT and MRI scan can also reveal if there is soft tissue spread of the lesion. So next, there is local control. Okay, when we are treating this osteosarcoma, we have to control it locally. Okay, so that can be done by the amputation. So this is done by amputation. Amputation remains the mainstay of the treatment for osteosarcoma. It can be a palliative amputation performed for advanced disease, aiming for pain relief and a better life. But when done for a more definitive purpose, Complete removal of the tumor must be ensured. In the past, high amputation or disarticulation through a joint proximal to the affected bone were done to avoid the stump recurrence, and with the availability of the effective chemotherapy, stump recurrence can be prevented even if the amputation is performed through the affected bone, provided it is performed taking a safe margin beyond the tumor. So these are the common sites of amputation. If there is the osteosarcoma at the site of lower end of femur, then level of amputation will be hip disarticulation or mid thigh amputation. If upper end of femur is affected, then hip disarticulation or hind quarter amputation. Upper end of tibia is affected, then mid thigh amputation. Upper end of humerus is affected by the tumor, then forequarter amputation. Okay, so these are the different levels where the surgeon will do the amputation. Okay, so recently now the surgeons are aiming for the limb saving surgery. So after proper assessment, and if the local spread of the tumor is not more, then limb saving surgeries can also be performed. So there is also role of radiotherapy. So radiotherapy is used for local control of the disease for the tumor. Okay, so tumors occurring at surgically inaccessible sites or in patients who are refusing the surgery, radiotherapy treatment can be done. So by radiotherapy we are controlling the distant macro or micro metastasis. So in the majority of the cases, the micro metastasis has already occurred by the time diagnosis is made, and these are effectively controlled by adjuvant chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Okay, next there is also role of chemotherapy while treating the osteosarcoma. So chemotherapy can be given pre or post operative, and the basic principle being that the micrometastases which are supposed to have occurred by the time diagnosis is made, it can be effectively controlled by the use of chemotherapy. So endoxin and sometimes methotrexate, citrovorum factor, endoxin, and sometimes cisplatinum also can be given for chemotherapy treatment. Next is the role of immunotherapy. So this is a new concept and it is yet not practiced widely. In this technique, a portion of the tumor is implanted into a sarcoma survivor and is removed after 14 days, and the sensitized lymphocytes from the survivor are infused into the patient, and these cells then selectively kills the cancer cell. So this kind of immunotherapy also can be done. After that, we have to take the follow-up of the patient. So patient is checked up every 6 to 8 weeks, because if there is any evidence of the recurrence, then we have to treat it. So this is the flow chart showing the treatment of the osteosarcoma. First, there is clinical suspicion. So you have to take the local part X-ray and the chest X-ray. Biopsy will confirm the diagnosis. Chest X-ray is normal, then local control, limb ablation surgery, and prognosis is good. Patient uses the artificial limb. If limb saving surgery, then radical resection with the reconstruction, arthrodesis can be done, joint replacement can be done, and prognosis is good. Control of metastasis in case of chest X-ray is normal. Neoadjuvant chemotherapy and adjuvant chemotherapy can be given. Now, if the chest X-ray shows secondary metastasis, then single on CT scan, then resection of the secondary metastasized part, and treatment is followed by A. Okay, and prognosis is fair. If there is multiple tumor, okay, then palliative ablation of the tumor and chemotherapy, and prognosis in this case will be poor, because the tumor must have spread to many organs and parts. So prognosis without the treatment, the death can occur within 2 years and usually within 6 months of detection of metastasis. 5 year survival with surgery alone is only 20%. With surgery and adjuvant chemotherapy, a 5 year disease free period is reported to be as high as 70%. A primarily lytic type, that is the telangiectatic type osteosarcoma, has the worst prognosis. So radiotherapy is the preferred treatment method for GCT affecting the vertebra. So same in case of giant cell tumor, where we had seen the tumor which is affecting the vertebra, radiotherapy can be used. So the same way here, radiotherapy also can be used in case of osteosarcoma, when the tumor is affecting the parts where we cannot do amputation. So this is the picture X-ray showing the osteosarcoma. So reference for today's book is Maheshwari Essential Orthopedics. So thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then please subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon to get notified for the next video, and share this channel with your friends. Thank you.